Day 10 of the 40-Day Soul Fast by Dr. Cindy Trims. Today's chapter focuses on the power of seeing. So I'm just going to read the line here that has actually stood out to me. It says, "Insight is what is possible from another dimension and connecting it in some new way to your present reality. We live in a material world that coexists with a parallel spiritual dimension, and that spiritual realm is the causal realm. What you see and experience first existed in the spirit." And I couldn't agree more with this line, because if you know, you know. If you're someone who considers yourself to be Christian, spiritual, or whatever you believe in, you know that most of the times, everything that you hear, see, or do here on earth has taken place in the spirit first. You might not even consider yourself spiritual, right? You might consider yourself as someone who is agnostic and you don't necessarily believe in anything. You might find that some people who are actually agnostic have had dreams. They dreamt about it and it happened. How do you think you had knowledge of that before it then took place in real life? That was because whatever you were dreaming was taking place in the spiritual realm. She shared a great example here as well by a man called George Washington Carver. He was a great man of faith and an educator in the post-Civil War South. It says here, at the time, in order for them to restore soil from the overplanting of cotton, farmers used to plant peanuts to return nitrates to the soil. But when they were vested, they would usually throw the peanuts away. So what happened was this man then asked God, God, what can we do with these peanuts? And God revealed 300 ways in which he could use peanuts. Amazing, right? He could see what the ordinary eye will not see. And this is why it's so important. I stress, it's so important to have God in your life, because when you have God in your life, honestly, it's such a huge advantage in life. I'm just going to put it out there. When you serve God, when you know God, when you received the Lord Jesus Christ into your life, you have such an advantage in life. First, I admired his mind of resourcefulness, but just that curiosity that would then cause him to ask God that kind of question. And then God tells him 300 ways. Imagine the things that are around us right now, and we don't see the use to it. Or, we overlook those things because they're just around us. So we've gotten so used to them. But what about asking God for a fresh perspective on seeing that thing? Because a lot of the times, right, when we have certain things, we lose value of them. And we don't even realize how much more valuable they are than we even know. So as I'm even talking right now, I just hear the Lord just saying to say to you guys right now that ask him to show you the value in the people. Ask the Lord to show you the value in people that you surround yourself with. Ask him to show you the value in the things that he has called you to do. It might seem really small, but ask him to show you the value of it. Ask him to reveal things that the normal mind cannot see, that the everyday eye cannot catch. And I really do believe that if you ask him these questions, he will give you an answer. I did not come here to prophesy. Hey, I came here to, read Dr. Cindy Trims. But hey, as the Lord moves, let him move, And even if you're not a believer, ask God. You don't believe in God, you can ask him, and he will show himself to you. He will show himself to you. Okay? Anyways, moving on, there's a quote here that states, "The real art of discovery consists not in finding new lands, but in seeing with new eyes." This stood out to me so much, actually, because I was just thinking, for example, you might be at a job where you feel like, oh, it might be really stressful. This person is doing this, that person is doing that. And you're like, I want to go, I want to leave. And the Lord is like, actually, no, I want you to have a fresh perspective. So yes, people might be stressing you out, but maybe if you have a good perspective, you would see that it's an opportunity for you to grow. You would see that it's a good way to challenge you into bearing good fruits in your life in terms of the fruits of the Spirit, like kindness, gentleness, meekness, joy, righteousness, right? So maybe that partner that you want to leave so bad, maybe you're not meant to leave that person. Maybe you just need to ask God to just refresh your perspective and show you a new perspective. The power of sight. Another great example is when the Lord said to Abraham, as far as you can see, the Lord said to Abraham, as far as you can see, I will give to you. That meant if Abraham saw a small portion, then he was only going to get a small portion. But if he saw as much as possible, then he was going to get that much, as far as you can see. You can only go as far as you see. And that's literally the reality of life. That's why if you notice that if some people stay in certain environments, they just might never break out, only by the mercy of God, or if God's mercy, really, because God will show mercy on anybody, believer or not. Only if by God's mercy, God breaks them out of that environment, then they're able to see, because now they're exposed to something else that they didn't know existed. The power of sight. The power of sight. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in to day 10. I will see you in day 11.